How's everyone doing? Great. Fantastic. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Again, my name's Scott Cuppari. I'm the Global Marketing Director for Coca-Cola Freestyle. Who knows what Coke Freestyle is? Show me your hands. Oh, come on now. If I ask, have you seen the touchscreen Coke machine where you get 100 plus drinks? There we go. Okay, perfect. So that's Coca-Cola Freestyle. And this little demonstration shows exactly the challenge in my job. Because I've heard Coke Freestyle referred to as the drink machine from the future, the coolest Coke machine, you can only imagine what consumers have said. And very few, maybe 50 or 60% of the consumers now know it by name, Coca-Cola Freestyle. Before I get into that, just a little bit about me. I started my journey in the mid-90s, graduated with an undergrad degree in marketing from West Virginia University, came to Atlanta, worked 10 years at different ad agencies, flipped to the client side, started at an internet company, and came to Coke almost 10 years ago. And the biggest thing that I've learned in my journey is don't get complacent. There's a saying, 20s are for learning, 30s are for earning. Fast forward 20 years, I would challenge you to also look at 40s to learn as well. Because the industry, consumer, everything will change in the blink of an eye. Right? When I started in advertising, TV commercials were the primary mechanism to advertise. Who watches TV commercials now? Hardly anyone, right? There's still a venue, but it's not the only way to communicate a brand or to connect with consumers. So halfway through my journey, I went back to school to the WVU online IMC program. And what that taught me was, for the first 10 years, I was a media buyer. And it opened my eyes to not just focusing on media, which was my specialty, like PR is your specialty and will be your specialty, but you need to think broader than that. You have to challenge yourself, you have to challenge the agencies that you'll work for, challenge the clients that you'll work for, be that real big pain in the you-know-what, right? Always ask questions. And that's really the backdrop for my journey. I'll walk you through what I do at Coca-Cola Freestyle, how innovation helps us build personalized experiences. And I've got plenty of time at the end for Q&A. Sound good? All right. So this is Shelly. Shelly's a Sprite. This is Mike. He's a Diet Coke raspberry guy. For me, I'm Coke Zero, or Pib, or Barks, depending on where I am, what I eat, what I drink, my mood, time of day, etc. And if I ask you what's your favorite drink from Coca-Cola Freestyle, would you know it? Yeah. Is it something that you can only find on Coke Freestyle? Yeah. No. All right, I hear a good mix of yeses and nos. So good. So I don't know what's going on with the projector here. It's advancing and I'm not. Let me try this again. All right. So who grabbed their Starbucks this morning? Who held up the line asking for your quad shot this, splash of this, pinch of that, hold the coffee, right? Come on. You know you did it. So this is personalization and customization at its finest, right? It's no longer acceptable for big brands like Coke, Starbucks, et cetera, to have one product and you make that product, you mass produce the product, and that's it, right? This is the age of personalization. And with that comes some inherent risk, right? Brands now need to think about their personalized experience in everything they do. It's no longer a one-to-one or one-to-many world. This is really, the world has evolved into a one-to-one world. We're living where companies can't just do something well, they need to do it just my way. It has to be for me, it has to be personal, it has to be tailored. And again, one size doesn't fit all. I'll give you a few examples of how the Coca-Cola Company has found ways to evolve in this one-to-one society. So think about our flagship brand, Coca-Cola, right? A Coke is a Coke is a Coke. No matter where you go in the world, the package, the size, doesn't matter. It's always a Coke. And we've built our entire history and the company around this flagship brand. But what's amazing is, that, again, this is the age of personalization. We mass produce this product, right? How do we make and take a brand like Coke, which is really based on one secret formula, and then try to personalize it? It's a big challenge. And how we've done that is through a campaign called Share a Coke, where I think 3 years ago, we launched this campaign outside the US. We put proper names on cans and bottles. It did extremely well. Because what did we do? We took a product, which was a treat. Some folks would call it a treat or a commodity, right? It's a low involvement purchase. And we've taken that and we've made it a collector's item. We've made it a scavenger hunt. We've made it so appealing where now you've got friends finding cans with names of their other friends, families searching to get complete sets. We've got sweepstakes. My daughter, even though she couldn't participate, wanted to find Alex Morgan for a chance to win a sweepstakes. And no matter how many times I said, Coca-Cola employees are not authorized to blah, 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 read, there's fine print there for a reason. We're not allowed. She wanted to do it anyway. Another example is the Powerade Just a Kid program. And this campaign launched earlier this year. And the great thing about this program, and here's the core creative idea, we're all just a kid from somewhere. I'm just a kid from West Virginia, right? Somebody's from Chicago, somebody's from New York, somebody's from London, Brussels, you name it, right? We're all just kids from somewhere. We all have potential to do amazing things. And the great thing about this campaign, immediately, it resonated with consumers. It resonated with that athlete in all of us, and it resonated to be something mentally that everyone could grab onto. In the market, you would see TV commercials with Derrick Rose, different NFL stars, because again, Chicago, LA, New York, the Bronx, you name it, it's there. We're all kids from somewhere. And what do we do for this? Just like the Share a Coke campaign, you can go online to Just a Kid. You can order t-shirts, hats, all the cool swag. Part of those proceeds go back to charity. But again, it's this notion of a mass-produced brand brought down to the mental ground level so consumers know exactly what you're talking about. They feel ownership in it. And now they want to wear shirts and hats and other things to proudly say they're just a kid from whatever hometown that is. And the interesting thing for Coca-Cola Freestyle is, again, our company was based on the secret formula, super important, highly protected, right? If you get a chance to go to the world of Coke, check it out. You'll see the vault where the recipe is. But for us, it's about your secret formula. Because again, with over 100 drink choices, there is something for everyone, no matter the mood, the food, the time of day, dietary needs, you name it, it's on the machine. And when we launched the machine, we started off with 106 brands. When the company hit the 125th anniversary, We introduced more brands into this dispenser. And today, in the US, we have over 150 different options. And one of the misperceptions is you can only get sparkling soft drinks. You can only get sodas on Coca-Cola Freestyle. The reality, as you know, if you've used it, that we've got vitamin water. We have Minute Maid lemonades. Outside the US, we have Fused tea. And what's amazing is this past week, I spent the week in Europe, navigating from London to France to Brussels to Berlin to Frankfurt. And in each of those countries, there are local varieties, in addition to the core Coke, Sprite, Fanta, Coke Light, which is the Diet Coke here in the States, Coke Zero. You will find localized brands in those machines, in those markets. But the proposition's the same. It's about choice, it's about variety, it's about something for you. It's about that personalized experience. So this is an eye chart. I'll warn you now. What if this was the PR boilerplate? The boilerplate needs to say that we launched in 2009. It needs to say that we offer this choice and variety. It says a bunch of things, all very important. We may get that. You may write that, right? I've told you to write that from a client perspective, but the reality is the consumer may see just this. We offer 100 drink choices, allows people to search deals and pour mixes. Other consumers may see this. You don't even know it's Coca-Cola Freestyle. You know it's a touch screen with 100 choices at your favorite restaurants. And my worst fear is this. That's what they walk away with. Nothing, right? All the advertising in the world and you still walk away with this? Wait a minute, you walked by my posters in my Wendy's and you walked by the machine and you walked by all of that stuff, right? That's become background. If it's wallpaper, if it's not memorable, if it's not emotional, you're going to forget it. And that's our job as marketers and future marketers. How to make a memorable and lasting impression on consumers. At Coca-Cola, we talk about the 4 types of media. And you've probably heard this and read it in the textbooks. Typically, it's 3 types of media: paid, owned, and earned. At Coke, we talk about 4 types, and that includes shared media. So paid are the banner ads and the TV commercials that you would find. Owned media could be our Coca-Cola Freestyle trucks, the Freestyle machines, our 12 packs, our fridge packs, everything far and wide. Our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, anything that I publish as a brand would be owned media. Earned media is it's the amplification of our message, right? It's the bloggers, it's the press. Anything that's said about us that wasn't paid by us goes into that earned bucket. The unique one for us is shared, and not all clients will have shared media, but for us, we look at our partners, our customer being the Wendy's, the Burger King, the theater, the McDonald's that have Coca-Cola Freestyle. Those bags, those cups, those tray liners, those posters, the signage as you go around the drive-thru. All of those are shared media opportunities to get our message out. And if you're in a TV commercial, you can probably fit a lot of words and stuff in a TV commercial. But if you're dealing with a little 8.5 by 11 sign in a drive-thru, you've got 5 words maximum. Even in an interstate billboard. A lot of clients, you drive down the interstate and you see 20 words on a billboard. How can I possibly read that at 80-something miles an hour, right? Not going to happen. 5 words on a billboard, that's all you can communicate. Coca-Cola Freestyle, I'm running out of fingers, right? So it's tough. But the reality is, not that pretty slide with 4 different blocks of information, 4 different types of media. this is the reality. Who plays pinball? Pinball. All right, so the cool thing about pinball, right, you pull the plunger back, you let the ball go, but what happens? You never know where the ball drops into the game, right? Does it hit the bumpers and you rack up tons of points? Do you just whiff it and it exits and you lose your turn, right? So think about the consumer in the context of a pinball machine. You never know where the consumer's dropping in to all of your marketing communication. If they drop in on a TV commercial, great. You've hit them with 30 or 60 seconds. If they come to your website, even better, right? Now you want them to just linger and learn. And it's a great opportunity to educate that consumer. But if it's that interstate billboard at speed and you get 5 words, what is that lasting impression? So think about the pinball effect, as I call it. And you can hit consumers with a lot of stuff in a wide variety of ways. But the reality is, if you don't put the consumer in the center of your marketing, you will fail and fail miserably. You have to think about the consumer. You have to think about everything that you want to communicate and the role of the messaging. What's the role of a TV ad? What's the role of a banner ad? What do we want to communicate, when and where? How do we make sure that message is contextually relevant, right? It's not about what you say, but how you say it, right? How many times have we heard parents, teachers, significant others say that, right? It happens all the time, and it's super important in marketing. And in our journey, we focus on 5 key points of connection to the consumer. The dispenser, of course, is one, all of our paid ads too. We've got websites, social media, and our mobile application. And the mobile app, how many of you knew prior to this that Coca-Cola Freestyle has a mobile app? 2 people. 3 people. All right. So the mobile app is in addition to the dispenser source of innovation, is an innovation in and of itself. We want to educate consumers, we want to engage, and ultimately we want them to execute. I cannot tell you, I've been at Coke a little over 9 years. I joined the Freestyle team a little over 4 years ago, and selfies of people with a machine is something that I'm still not used to. It happens all the time, right? Give us a hug. I've seen folks give us a kiss, right? It's that oh my gosh moment. If I ask you where you were the first time you saw a Coke Freestyle machine, do you remember? You're smiling. Where was it? Chipotle, right? Wendy's, Burger King. How many brands? Firehouse Subs.
Burger King. Company.
And this is where I sit down, right? Because think about it. As funny as this is, you've started the conversation, right? It's personal. You know exactly where. You told the person next to you where it was. That started a little conversation. I can pull up a chair and take the next 40 minutes off, right? You're not that lucky. But that's that moment. So as a brand, how do we capture that moment? How do we learn from that moment? What most people don't realize is, have you heard the term Internet of Things? Everything's connected, microwaves are connected, refrigerators, etc. So Coca-Cola Freestyle is a part of the Internet of Things. We have been from day one. And the great thing is that we get consumption data, we get hardware diagnostic information, software diagnostics. We know what's going wrong before it goes wrong. We know what was poured, where it was poured, when it was poured, by ounce. I don't know one critical piece of information. What is it? It's the who. I have no idea who poured that drink. And that's where the mobile app comes in. With our mobile application, you can take up to 3 brands, mix those brands together, set the percent ratio of those brands, connect your phone to the machine, and pour that mix. So how many people mix today, right? Yeah, I was a mixer, right? Not only was I a mixer for me in a positive way, I was also a mixer for my little sister growing up. Hey, try this, right? It'll taste great. Dumb stuff brothers say, right? But the reality is mixing happens for about 50 to 60% of all of our consumers. And the insight was, the reason we've got a mobile app is consumers told us, I mixed these 3 things together or 4 things together, and it tasted great, but when I went to the next restaurant, I couldn't do it again. I couldn't remember what was in that mix. And I really don't know what to mix if I'm having fish tacos compared to a burger compared to something else. But mixing's the most popular feature of the app, but that's not all the app does. Yes, you can create those mixes, you can share those mixes with your friends, you can connect your phone to the dispenser and pour those mixes. But you can also use our app to find locations, save your favorite drinks. So again, another business insight here was when consumers walked up to Coke Freestyle for the first time, there's 100 choices. I'm intimidated. I don't know what to get. I'm going to push Coke, and that's it, and walk away, because I'm fearful that I'll back up the line, right? So now you can basically bookmark a dozen brands that are just, those are my go-to brands. No matter where I am, I can save my favorites. You can earn badges, you can get special offers, $1 off that combo meal at Chipotle, whatever, free popcorn at AMC theaters. And then you can complete challenges or sweepstakes or other things to participate not only with the Coke Freestyle brand, but other brands within our portfolio. And for us, connectivity is the key, and it all starts with the handshake. We've all seen QR codes in a number of places, at Target and in magazines, and you snap the QR code, it takes you to a website or somewhere for more information. We've flipped the paradigm for a QR code, where you take our app now, scan that QR code, and the drinks that you've saved, the mixes and the favorites that you've saved, automatically go to that dispenser that you're standing in front of. And that's our handshake. That's our one-to-one connection to the consumer. And it's becoming now more of just 100+ choices, which you see on posters all around the country, right? Coca-Cola Freestyle, 100+ choices, 100+ options. Now, the number of options is infinite because you're in control. You're the mixologist. You're the one mixing, you're the one creating. And what we've done is we've taken hundreds of millions of dollars of manufacturing equipment, big bottling plants, shrunk it into one nozzle. So now you make what you want when you want it, and we'll make it for you right where you are. So that's the level of personalization that we all want, right? It's not just the ability to get something made for us. This is made by us, right? We all have our combinations, but maybe we don't. Because what I hear often as well is, there's so many options, I don't know what will taste great together. So that's where shared media comes in. Because when you have a YouTube star, iJustine, who last summer created the iJustine Summer Mix, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. These are the three things she mixed together. And it blows up like that, gold mine, right? But not only is it a gold mine in terms of brand, audience, and reach and everything for us, that her drink was poured thousands of times it decreased that level of anxiety where if it's good enough for iGestine, it's got to taste great, right? And that's what we need. Yes, you can do it, but it's fun to do as well. So I'm going to play a little video. This is shot, and again, I encourage you to go to the World of Coke. You will find people from all over the world at the World of Coke. And if you've never been, leave about 15 minutes at the end of your tour for the tasting room. Because inside the tasting room, you will find Coca-Cola drinks from all over the world. There's a station for Europe, a station for Asia. And in the back, you'll find a bank of 6 or 8 Coke Freestyle machines. This is where this was shot, just I think last winter.
Coca-Cola Freestyle.
Freestyle is unique because there's no machine like it.
I get all these options.
It tastes really bubbly and fresh.
When you walk into a restaurant, you see that they have a machine. It's refreshing.
Because there are some flavors that I can only get by using Coca-Cola Freestyle.
It's really neat that you can go and express yourself through the drinks that you get. Any flavor combination with espresso or coffee.
Sparks vanilla. It was almost like a root beer float. Coca-Cola lime and the Coca-Cola vanilla mixed together.
Cherry Sprite.
The app is really great. I like being able to smell and make choices.
It gives me a sense of creativity. I can name my own drink and load it right on the machine.
I love sharing my mixes with my friends, and they get to share theirs with me, so we get to try new flavors and new. Now I just have the freedom to try different flavors depending on.
When you're eating tacos or a burrito, you definitely need like a Fanta.
It's an experience. It's something that you do with your friends. It's something social.
I tell all my friends about Coca-Cola Freestyle.
It's never the same, and it's always surprising. It's easy, and it's fun.
Phenomenal. It blew me away.
So again, everyone's got their go-to. But we can't expect everyone to have a website, we can't expect everyone to have a mobile app and a smartphone, right? So there is a role for websites, but even that website where you send everyone to a desktop experiences are dead, right? It's about mobile devices. We know on a monthly basis that roughly 80 to 90% of all of our site traffic comes from a mobile device. So you've got to take advantage of the hardware and everything your phone can do. We use the mobile web where you launch and you search for locations, right? What's near me? And when you're in a city like Atlanta where you've never been before and you want to explore, you want to try, you can search anywhere you are in the world. But that's one piece to it. This is another piece of innovation. It's called geofencing. Have you heard of geofencing before? So geofencing, for those who haven't, you set an invisible fence around a location. You set the distance of that fence based on latitude and longitude. And when an app holder crosses that fence, enters that fence, or exits that fence, you can send them customized offers. So as you're walking by the Salsaritas in this little strip area in Charlotte, North Carolina, you come within a mile of this, enter anywhere into any of the parking lots, and at a certain point in time, we will say, come into Salsaritas, get a free appetizer. Buy one, get one free, whatever, desserts, drinks, discounts, you name it. And the reason we do that, and the reason we enable this type of capability within the mobile app is really simple. We need to deliver value back to that consumer. Because consumers have 70, 80, 90 apps on their phone. How do you stay relevant? How do you keep from getting deleted? One of my worst fears is the shaking app, right? Why? Because I never want somebody to go and really think about deleting Coca-Cola Freestyle, right? Bad scenario for a brand manager. From a technology perspective, we focus on, again, social, but really social sharing. And as much as the selfies are interesting and comical, many of them, this is some of the feedback that we get from consumers. Again, it is the Coke machine from the future. It's this, it's that, it's fun. Oh my gosh, I've discovered this drink that I didn't know existed. Orange Coke, so on and so forth. But look at the image from the mom, right? My son's a diabetic. In a typical food service outlet, my son would only have 6 choices, right? Think of the context. I get Coke, Diet Coke, maybe a Fanta, maybe a Fruitopia or something, but I've got 6 options. Now, the son cries because of the choice and variety. You no longer have just one option for low or no calorie drinks or caffeine-free drinks. You've got over 80 choices with Coke Freestyle. When we look at the top 2 emotions for Coca-Cola Freestyle in the last year, the top 2 words in our word cloud, love and awesome, right? Think about many of the other brands right now. They would pay dearly for that. So this is how we know we're keeping our promise to personalize the experience, to make that emotional connection, and to stay relevant and not become noise. Not become background noise, wallpaper, clutter, whatever adjective you want. You have to be memorable and meaningful. So it's how we keep surprising and delighting our consumers. It's the Coke Freestyle machine. It's the extended experience through the Coca-Cola Freestyle app. It's the 100+ choices that we create. It's the millions of choices that you create and mixes that you create. And and I said it earlier, you as future marketers have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to push yourselves, your agencies, and your clients. Many of you will go into a PR agency. And if your client is anything like Coke, we have what is called an agency council, where we may bring in a social media agency, a PR agency, a creative agency, our media buying and planning agency, and we get them all in the room and we say, this is our brief. We need to do X. The creatives may have a great idea that is PR worthy. The PR team may say something that would influence the social media team that does all the paid social. All of that conversation could spark an idea for a vendor, BuzzFeed, AOL, whomever, that the media guys may want to purchase, right? It's that cross-agency collaboration that's paramount to success. But you'll also see that within the big PR agencies, and most of the ones in Atlanta have already done this, they're hiring now digital strategists. They're branching out into media buying, media planning. For the clients that don't want 5 different agencies and a big complex council, they need the in-house capability to do a lot of this work. And behind a lot of this work is big data, right? Think about the Internet of Things. Think about the reams of information coming in. And yes, what, when, where, how, who, right? With the mobile app, I get so much data, I don't know what to do with it now. We can hire a team of data scientists and all the ninjas and everybody else that we want to slap a fancy title on, and we could still just scratch the surface for everything that we can learn about our consumers and about their journey. So before I go, I want to leave you with just a couple key things, right? Think about that pinball effect. Everything that you do, think about the pinball effect. Think about where the consumer is going to drop in within that client experience. Think about that boilerplate, right? How do you digest 100 words and boil it down to 5 or 2? How do you avoid being on that blank piece of paper where they've not absorbed anything? Right? It's the right message, right time, right context for the right consumer. Think about clear connections. Everyone wants value. Everyone wants something for free. Everyone wants something for them. Have a clear connection. And not only just a connection between brand and consumer, but everything you say needs to be on this from the same song sheet, if you will, right? You can't be schizophrenic as a marketer. You can't say one thing here, one thing here, one thing there, and it's just totally disparate, totally confusing. People expect more. They expect us to keep up with their changing needs, and they expect more from us as a global company. And that means greater personalization, more programs like Share a Coke, more programs like Just a Kid, more experiences like Coca-Cola Freestyle are here to come. Provide tools for consumer amplification, right? My simple question of, do you remember where you were the first time? That's not it could have been a yes or no question, but with the excitement, you took that conversation and ran with it, right? That's the purpose of marketing. You don't want to just say, we have 100 plus drinks, factually correct, right? Is it thought-provoking? Is it engaging? Can you build a conversation from it? No. We have 100 plus drinks. What's your favorite? Right? Now you've got them. And if they respond back, don't let that conversation die there. You know, marketing's not about dead ends, right? I don't want somebody to come into a website and stop. I want them to continue the journey. I want them to go from point A to B within that pinball game, right? No dead ends within the marketing plan. And be authentic, right? Consumers revert to familiar brands and experiences. They know what's familiar. They know which brands have taken care of them. They know which brands have taken care of the community. They know which brands have given back. You can't get more personal than a consumer in their phone, right? Tom Daly, one of our mobile executives at Coca-Cola, talks about how do we take a person that's got a mobile phone in one hand and put a Coca-Cola in their other hand, right? That's key for us, right? You can pay through your phone. You can pay directly through your phone. You can pay directly through your cell phone provider to buy a Coke now on vending machines all over the world. Yeah, but you have to be authentic. It's not just about the transaction. It's got to be personal. It cannot be one size fits all. So our marketing, our mobile app, our mixing program is just the beginning, as I said before. I hope the next time you get a chance, you'll stop at one of these machines. I hope you'll play around and try to tell us what your secret formula is. My secret formula is about a 60-40 mix, 60% orange Coke, 40% vanilla Coke. Tastes like a creamsicle, pretty good, right? I've heard consumers tell us that mixing several of the combinations of Sprite together tastes like different varieties of gummy bears. I can see that. I've tried many of them, right? But what's your secret formula?